everybody, Pat Huntoon here from Technique Junkies, and today I'm going to be using Nuvo embellishment mousse and distress ink markers to be creating a stained glass background, creating a metallic paper and then stamping into it and coloring on it, and it looks stained glass when it's finished. It's a very simple process, so let's begin. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using Nuvo embellishment mousse in lemon sorbet. They do come, I would also recommend doing this with mother of pearl and or pure platinum. It works really well. What you want is a light color. So to start, I'm just going to be opening my mousse, and my mousse has been used obviously, and taking a finger dauber, and I'm just going to put it on my finger and going through and just putting it on here. Now I did have some other color in there, so I'm getting some streaks, but I don't mind that. That's kind of pretty. And what I want to do is create a nice smooth background in here, and it should only take me a minute just to rub this on. Okay, so you can see it's on there. What I don't want is I don't want to see the marks too much. So I'm just going back over this and covering up anywhere where you could see where I went back and forth, or the side-to-side motion. All right, so I'm just going to make this nice and smooth as I can get it. And usually when I'm using embellishment mousse, or the things I've showed you so far, I show you with dimension. This is not a non-dimensional technique. Look at that paper, it's just beautiful. I mean, you could take this same paper and you can cut die cuts out of it. You could embellish it up, send it through an embossing folder, and then do something over the top. It's all very pretty doing that, but this way is just a little bit unique, and that you just get a little different look. So normally I would just let that sit for a minute or two, but I'm going to heat it with the heat tool to speed the heating here. Nuvo mousse dries very fast on itself, but I'm just making sure it's completely dry, because when I add the water for the markers, I don't want to be lifting any of that color. And just to show you, my hands are typical inky fingers here, but I'm going to take this finger, which doesn't have anything on it, and I'm just going to rub it over it pretty hard and pretty vigorously to show you that nothing's come off. The metallic is way in there. Okay, so now with that background, I'm going to be taking the brand new Technique Junkie stamp, the Big Butterfly Collage here. It's S778, it's $10.95, the Big Butterfly Collage. And I'm going to be using a stamp positioner, and I'm going to be using archival ink. This time, I believe I'm going to use Stays On ink and stamping it on there, and then drying it so that the ink itself is very dry. So I'll be right back. I'm going to put it through my stamp positioner and stamp it so that you can see it stamped. The first thing I'm going to do is dry this. I'm going to dry this ink nice and fully to make sure that there's no lift of the ink. Okay, so I just dried that very quickly, fully. I want to make sure that the ink is fully dry on this before I start using the water-based markers on it. And I suggest water-based markers because it won't lift the Nuvo paste that is the base underneath this. So we're going to very lightly color this. And I'm going to pick colors that kind of go with this yellow so it doesn't look odd. We start with the green leaves back there. So I'm using the brush tip. And I'm just going to go and paint right over this, color right over this. See how the color just takes it real easy? But it gives you a little stained glass look, and you'll see it more as we finish. It's just such a pretty look. Just going to go over the leaves gently. The good thing about a collage stamp is that it's very forgiving, and if I go outside the lines a little bit, it's not a big deal. It's a very easy, forgiving stamp. And I'm just going to do the leaves up to the butterfly, even though they kind of go over with, maybe I'll go over the butterfly there in front. Let's keep it true to form. I'm just going to color that. And then I'm going to take my next color, which I think is going to be this coral color. And again, from the brush tip. So far I've used peel paint and abandoned coral, and I'm just going to go over this whole thing with abandoned coral. Now, it will easily lift off that green, so I might have to go back over that green again and lift it. When you're putting this on, just note that it takes a minute or two, and you do have to use a heat tool to dry these inks. It will sit a little bit on top of the embellishment paste, so you do have to dry it before you move on too much. So I think you could see when I was lifting it that it does have this amazing shimmery texture to it, and where the markers are, it does look like stained glass because you can see through them and they're shimmery and quite beautiful. The only thing I'm going to do is take a black Sharpie, because I can't find my distress marker, and just kind of go over the butterfly body. So that's our card today. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the Technique Junkies channel for further tutorials on rubber stamping and all of the different tools associated with it. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.